Hi there, I'm Suze and welcome to the Manja Kitchen. So we are playing with puff pastry today. We explored phyllo dough on a previous show when I made some baklava, and it was a type of a Persian baklava, but it had chocolate in it, and the Persians don't usually use chocolate, but I did because I love chocolate, let's face it. I only like dark chocolate. Don't give me, if you're going to send me any chocolate, make sure it's dark chocolate, preferably Swiss, really good stuff. So what we have here today is puff pastry. In puff pastry, you can make it from scratch. I mean, I was taught in culinary school how to make puff pastry from scratch. But why? Why would you want to do that? I mean, are you that bored? Or do you have nothing else to do? Wash your car. You can do some gardening. Do something else. But puff pastry, you can buy refrigerated. Now, they sell it. Pepperidge Farm sells it. It's in a box in the freezer case. It's an okay product. I mean, it's not the best I've ever had. I used to buy from my bakery, I used to buy orange puff pastry, only sold to the commercial industry, which was the best I could find at the time. But this is what I did recently. I went to one of our Asian stores in town. It wasn't really Asian. I guess it was more Lebanese and Syrian, and it was an ethnic market. Now, I love to haunt ethnic markets, mostly because I want to test myself to see if I can make something I've never made before or do something with a product they have that I've never used before. I always like to test myself. I'm a great experimenter in the kitchen. And out of the kitchen, not so much, but in the kitchen, anything goes and everything goes. So I bought some pre-made puff pastry that came in the freezer case at the local Syrian market. This is really good. It's a lot better than that Pepperidge Farm crap. Forget that stuff. If you don't have anything else, it'll do, right? But it won't taste as good. It's not made as well because puff pastry is flour and butter. I mean real butter. No, don't tell me you use margarine. I don't want to hear margarine in my life. We don't use margarine. My mother used margarine. I swore when I was a kid, when I was old enough to buy my own food, margarine was not going to be part of my diet. Margarine is fake food. It's not real. There's no dairy in margarine. Again, it's like solid Pennzoil that you would put in your car. Why would you want to even eat that? It's greasy. It tastes like crap. So use real butter. Preferably when you bake, use sweet butter, which means it's not salted. I don't use salted butter in my house at all because I bake a lot and I cook a lot. And I like when you bake, especially with butter, and if you're using it reducing butter to make it clarified, which means you're breaking down the butter by melting it, and all the butter solids, the milk solids, go to the bottom of the pan, and the other rises to the top, which is the pure butter. In Eastern Indian, it's known as ghee. That is clarified butter. And you can bake with that because it's got a higher smoke point than regular butter does, and it doesn't have that kind of a weird taste with all the butter solids in it. So either use ghee or use real butter. That's my rant on butter for the day. But getting back to this recipe, I decided to play. Okay, there's no real recipe, but I developed one. It'll be at the end of the show so you can see it. Oh, by the way, while I'm talking to you, subscribe to the show, will you please? Give me a job. I mean, I need to be occupied. I mean, I work way too much in my garden. I've got a mole out there that's driving me crazy. I need to be distracted. I really need to be distracted. By doing these cooking shows, yeah, since I'm on furlough from my job, yeah, can I make a couple bucks? If I get 1,000 people, yeah, and then I get some people that want to sponsor us. God forbid somebody wants to sponsor this show. I would love you to do that. But meanwhile, please subscribe to the show. Send me emails if you want certain recipes made. I can make just about anything. Don't make it like bouillabaisse, or don't make a big involved recipe. Make it what we do on our show here. Simple, easy, pantry ready, stuff you got. Don't go out to the store because nobody's shopping these days. Make it easy on yourself. I had this in the freezer. this is the puff pastry that I bought, and it says Indo-European, no trans fats, no cholesterol. 2 rolls of puff pastry in here. Stats are calories. I'm not going to tell you the calories, forget it. Not high in fat, surprisingly, about 17. About 11 grams of fat a day is about the, which you should not be eating any more than that. But, you know, you can splurge once in a while. But this is really good stuff. So what I made is these 2 little desserts. And they look pretty fancy. Let me tell you, this was done within a half an hour. Both of these together done in a half an hour. So the first one I did was this one, which is kind of an interesting. I took the puff pastry and cut it into 2 different pieces. I actually spread butter, the real stuff, not the margarine stuff, on both of them, put on chocolate chips, and rolled them up and put egg, took an egg and beat it like a beaten egg on top so that these little grains of sugar, this is like a confectioner's sanding sugar would be. Sanding sugar is usually a little finer grain, but this is used within the food industry, and I'm sure you could buy it just about anywhere these days. I think you can even buy it at the grocery store in the cake mix section. So this is puff pastry stuffed with chocolate. You can see the chocolate. And simple. Roll them up, bake them. The other one I did was kind of a riff on a cinnamon roll. Now, this is, again, puff pastry rolled out with butter, cinnamon, and a little bit of cinnamon sugar on top of it. Roll it up, refrigerate it until it's about a half an hour, until it's pretty solid, and then cut it in the log into pieces like this. Now, here's the best part. Look at the bottom. See that caramelized sugar? Oh, these are really good. So if you want to gild the lily like I always do, how can you just leave food alone? Can you just leave it alone? Of course you can't. So what do? You buy a jar of peanut butter or speculoos crunchy cookie butter, and you dip these guys in that. Well, try to do it when nobody's around. And better yet, when nobody's around, get a knife out of the utensil drawer and just sit there and eat the pieces of the cookie out of the cookie butter and put the lid back on. Nobody's gonna, where are you gonna go to cookie butter jail? Nobody ever gets arrested for that kind of thing. And it's something, it's a guilty pleasure. And believe me, guilty pleasures are few and far between, especially when you're my age or you live this long. Do the guilty pleasures. Don't save this. Oh, I'll go on a diet next week. You're not going on a diet next week, especially in times like this. Who's going on a diet? You're out of your mind if you go on a diet. Eat everything and anything you want. Make yourself happy. What else do we have? We can't go anywhere. You might as well eat. I know people that have gained a lot of weight with being locked down. I am not one of them because I've got a great metabolism. But then again, I might not have if I keep on eating this. So try the puff pastry. If you have to, buy Pepperidge Farm if you can't find anything else. But if you have an ethnic market that sells Syrian foods or Lebanese foods, this is the deal. This is really, really good stuff. Again, simple dessert. Both of these made, both of them together, under a half an hour. And it looks professional. Hey, you know, you look like a star. Your family's going to go, oh my God, she spent all day baking this stuff for us. Oh, what a great mom, Jess. What a great wife. You get the Mom and the Wife Award this week for just making something as simple as this. And it's tasty. And and put them in a Ziploc baggie. Put it in the back in your bathroom, behind the toilet paper, underneath the sink. Guaranteed they'll never find it. And you can steal one at a time out of there and dip it in your cookie butter. Join us again with more easy to make, fresh food, you know, that's pantry ready and fast. Hacks are coming. Get ready for the hacks and send me your requests. And definitely, please subscribe to the show. Keep me occupied. You don't want to see me going on the loose, do you? I mean, it's not a good thing. Join us again. Thanks for being here.